Tonight, the crisis engulfing Haiti as Americans get airlifted to safety. Decimated by exploding violence over the last weeks, Haiti now finds itself on the precipice as an armed rebellion delivers this message to the country's leader: step down and the violence ends. The siege taking place, international relief workers trapped in the middle, and the poverty-stricken people struggling for safety. Plus,
are you confident that all of these human remains here at Dartmouth will be repatriated in the next 5 years?
I can say with confidence that Dartmouth is committed to this work happening.
The issue some Native students are calling an atrocity in plain sight. In tonight's Prime Focus, we report on the push to get Native American remains stored at universities, museums, and institutions sent back to their homelands. And
what could have killed me gave me a whole new life.
She's one of the most celebrated models in the world and was one half of one of the most storied marriages. Tonight, Gisele Bündchen opens up about her new chapter, her split with Tom Brady, and her return to modeling on her own terms. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis coming to you from Los Angeles tonight, fresh off our Oscars coverage of Hollywood's biggest night. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We'll have more on those awards coming up later in the show and much more, including the developing story as we come on the air tonight, a deadly bus crash that left several dead. Plus, it's one of the world's most popular social media apps, why TikTok is on the verge of facing a nationwide ban. We have a closer look at legislation up for vote that could wipe the app off of our smartphones. And the photo seen around the world and the royal apology that followed, why Princess Kate says it was her Photoshop skills that led to that curious image of the royal family, and why that has done little to quell doubts about the image and the state of the royal family. We'll take you to London. But we do begin with the chaos and deteriorating conditions in Haiti, where gangs have been leading massive coordinated assaults around Port-au-Prince for nearly 2 weeks. Secretary of State Antony Blinken just announced that the U.S. would provide Haiti with another $100 million for the UN multinational security support mission for Haiti. The U.S. has previously pledged to provide $200 million to the cause, bringing the total to $300 million. This weekend, heavily armed gangs attacked the National Palace as the Prime Minister remains in exile, their goal to force his resignation. The U.S. military launched helicopters to evacuate non-essential personnel from the capital. Haiti has long been in decline, those armed groups terrorizing the country with murders, kidnapping, and extortion, taking advantage of the political vacuum there. For the last year, our Matt Rivers has been reporting on the unrest in Haiti. He spoke with the head of one of the most notorious gangs, and Matt joins us now. Matt, what did he say it would take to stop the violence?
Yeah, Lindsay, it was an extraordinary conversation with the leader of this gang, and he was extremely clear with us. He talked about the fact that he took credit for all of the fighting. He is not ashamed of that. He's, in fact, proud of it. He said he's fighting for his country, and he said in order for this fighting to stop, there was one thing that needs to happen. It would be the resignation of acting Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Let's show you more what he had to say.
Tonight, a gang-led rebellion putting Haiti on the brink of collapse. This elderly woman shot in the leg, desperate for help. And with the U.S. military helicoptering non-essential personnel out of the U.S. Embassy under the cover of darkness early Sunday, Secretary of State Antony Blinken traveling to Jamaica tonight for an emergency meeting with Caribbean leaders. It comes after coordinated gang attacks to overthrow the government of acting Prime Minister Ariel Henry. The man behind it all, a warlord called Barbecue, demanding the acting Prime Minister step down. We spoke to him over the weekend.
If Ariel Henry resigns, will you stop fighting?
Indeed, he says, if Henry resigns, we will automatically stop the attacks. Over the past year, we have reported on the growing unrest, and it has become increasingly difficult to get in, witnessing one of the worst humanitarian crises in the world.
So a nurse just weighed Marvin's here using this scale. He's about 9 kilos or 20 pounds. He's 4 years old, and yet he weighs the exact same amount as my son, who's only 10 months old.
Growing fears the situation will only get worse, with no end in sight to the violence.
And right now, Secretary of State Antony Blinken meeting with regional leaders in the Caribbean, trying to get acting Prime Minister Ariel Henry to cede power to a transition council that would then bring new elections to Haiti. But so far, Lindsay, Henry has refused to resign.
And Matt, of course, another element in this humanitarian crisis, issues with getting care at hospitals. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's just extraordinary to watch, and it's heartbreaking to watch what's going on in hospital after hospital across Port-au-Prince. The healthcare system was not good in Port-au-Prince before all this happened, and now the situation is so bad, doctors and nurses literally cannot get to the hospitals because there's the risk that they would be kidnapped or killed on their way. That's leaving patients inside these hospitals to literally fend for themselves. We saw that. We sent a camera into some of these hospitals earlier today, speaking to some of the patients there, who one person told us he was literally just waiting to die because there is no health care. That's how horrible things are in Port-au-Prince right now. Hospitals closed, schools closed, basic services not being met. Lindsay, it is not hyperbole to say that there is a failing state just 90 minutes flight from Miami. Lindsay?
Just such dire conditions. We so appreciate you reporting that. And now to a deadly school out of Illinois. Authorities say 3 children, all preschoolers, were among the 5 killed today when the bus collided with a semi-truck carrying sand. Here's ABC's Alex Perche with what we know.
Tonight, a horrific crash scene along this Illinois highway after a semi-truck collided with a school bus, killing 5 people, including all 3 preschool-aged children on board.
Route 24 in front of Scripps Park, school bus semi-accident. At least 1 vehicle on fire.
It happened about 60 miles west of Springfield. Police say just after 11:30 this morning, the bus crossed the line into oncoming traffic and then into the path of that truck hauling sand.
The bus was traveling west on Route 24 and for an unknown reason crossed over into the eastbound lanes in front of the semi-truck. Both vehicles became engulfed in flames.
Both drivers were also killed. The school bus seen here barely recognizable.
When you have loss of lives like this, it's devastating. It's quite a tragedy.
Lindsay, tonight authorities were asked if drugs or alcohol played a role in this crash, and frankly, they can't answer that yet. This investigation is just getting started. Lindsay?
Such a tragedy, Alex. Thank you. More than 50 million people are under wind alerts tonight from Maryland to Maine. The ripple effect is being felt across the country. Nearly 3,000 flights were canceled or delayed today. This home in Carlisle, Pennsylvania was destroyed by a fallen tree, killing a person who was trapped inside. And in Maine, the Coast Guard braved 17-foot seas and winds topping 40 miles an hour for a woman needing emergency medical care. The wind is the tail end of a system that slammed the East Coast this weekend. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano joins us to time it all out. Hey, Rob.
Hi, Lindsay. This thing really got wound up yesterday quickly and continued to strengthen today, and it's seemingly in no rush to get out to sea. The low itself is still over the Canadian Maritimes, and we've got wind advisories that remain up. It's still blowing around here now, and many of these will remain up well past midnight as that low wraps around more in the way of winds of 20, 30, up to 40, or maybe even 50 miles an hour for the next 6 to 8 hours. And with the ground saturated, we're likely to see more in the way of trees down. That, plus what the winds are happening in the Midwest from the Central Plains down through the Texas Panhandle, where they had the largest wildfire in Texas history, still recovering from that. Red flag warnings are posted there with warm, dry winds, and critical fire danger likely to remain up in that area through much of this week. And here in the Northeast, the next 4 to 8 hours will continue to be dicey with these winds. Lindsay?
We can see the wind whipping out where you are right there. Rob Marciano, our thanks to you. We turn tonight to the stark warning on Capitol Hill. America's top intelligence officials warn of the most troubling global threats right now, and the list was very long, from China to Russia to the danger at our southern border. Our Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas reports.
Tonight, the nation's top intelligence officials warning the U.S. faces unprecedented threats internationally and here at home. Concerns that adversaries like China and Russia might try to use the emerging technology of artificial intelligence against the U.S. in the upcoming presidential election.
The threat of malign actors exploiting these tools and technologies to undercut U.S. interests and democracy is particularly potent as voters go to the poll in more than 60 elections around the globe.
The FBI concerned about the potential that terrorists and others might try to come through a porous southern border.
A whole host of threats that emanate from the border, and some of them are criminal threats. We talked about fentanyl and violence. And then, of course, we have concerns that it could be a vulnerability that terrorist organizations could seek to exploit.
And tonight, the blunt assessment that Ukraine faces a critical window.
Ukraine's retreat from Avdiivka and their struggle to stave off further territorial losses in the past few weeks have exposed the erosion of Ukraine's military capabilities with the declining availability of external military aid. And without that assistance, it is hard to imagine how Ukraine will be able to maintain the extremely hard-fought advances it has made against the Russians, especially given the sustained surge in Russian ammunition production and purchases from North Korea and Iran.
Lindsay, tonight the FBI director continues to warn that the terror threat is, quote, at a whole other level. And with the war still raging in Gaza, nothing has changed to diminish his concerns. Lindsay?
Pierre, thank you. And turning now to the race for the White House, President Joe Biden has wasted no time hitting back at Donald Trump after the former president floated the idea of cuts to programs like Social Security and Medicare to curb the national debt. Here's ABC senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott with that story.
Tonight, the stark difference between the two candidates on full display. President Biden seizing on new comments by Donald Trump. The former president seeming to suggest he would be open to cutting entitlements like Social Security and Medicare.
There is a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting, and in terms of also the theft and the bad management of entitlements, tremendous bad management of entitlements. There's tremendous amounts of things, numbers of things you can do.
Biden tweeting out Trump's comments with these words, "Not on my watch," hitting them again on a campaign swing in New Hampshire.
Donald Trump said cuts to Social Security and Medicare are on the table again. I'm never going to allow that to happen.
Biden today unveiling his budget wish list, a $7.3 trillion plan highlighting his priorities for voters. It includes $4.7 billion for border security and a host of programs to help the middle class, including a $2,600 child tax credit, a new tax credit for first-time home buyers, and lowering the cost of prescription drugs, including insulin. To pay for it all, Biden wants to raise taxes on corporations and impose a 25% minimum tax on people worth more than $100 million. The president again drawing a sharp contrast with Donald Trump.
Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax breaks? Because that's what he wants to do.
Biden pledging that nobody who earns less than $400,000 will see their taxes go up.
Nobody, not a single cent. Nobody will pay a single penny more, and they haven't thus far. Folks, it's about fundamental fairness.
And fundamental differences between the two. Rachel Scott joins us now from Capitol Hill. Rachel, the Trump campaign has pushed back on Trump's remarks. How so?
Yeah, they're definitely pushing back. They say what the president was saying is that he wasn't trying to cut Social Security or Medicare. What he was talking about was cutting waste, not the programs themselves. And you remember, this was a touchy subject at President Biden's State of the Union address. We've been talking to many Republicans coming down here. They are also backing up that argument, saying that they do not want to see cuts to those programs, Lindsay.
All right, Rachel Scott from the Hill for us. Thanks so much, Rachel. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Marcia Fudge announced she is stepping down from her cabinet position later on this month. Fudge exclusively told USA Today she is leaving public office for retirement. This marks only the second cabinet secretary to resign during the Biden administration. Fudge, who was only the second black woman to lead the agency, was appointed in March of 2021 during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic and the beginning of the instability in the housing market. Now to the tensions between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Biden after Biden discussed what would be a red line for him. Matt Gutman reports in tonight from Jerusalem.
Tonight, a growing rift between President Biden and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after the president seemingly said an invasion into Rafah in the southern part of the Gaza Strip would be his red line.
It is a red line, but I'm never going to leave Israel. You cannot have 30,000 more Palestinians dead as a consequence.
Moments later, walking those comments back, saying Netanyahu's war was hurting Israel more than helping. For weeks, the White House has publicly urged Israel not to invade Rafah, where Hamas's remaining leaders and battalions are believed to be hiding among civilians without a plan to protect the more than 1 million displaced Gazans there. Netanyahu defiant, vowing to press on despite the president's concerns.
I have a red line. You know what the red line is? That October 7th doesn't happen again.
The leaders trading barbs as the holy month of Ramadan begins and as famine sets in. According to the UN, dozens, mostly children, have died from malnutrition, some like 12-year-old Muhammad clinging to life with severe dehydration and malnutrition.
So many suffering just like Mohammed. Matt Gutman joins us now. And Matt, since this feud began, has the president spoken to Netanyahu?
Well, you'll recall, Lindsay, that just after his State of the Union address, President Biden was caught off mic saying, quote, that he'd have a come-to-Jesus conversation with Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu. Today, he was asked about it. He said it hasn't yet happened. He did leave the option on the table to have that conversation. But I think at this point, the two aren't really talking. They probably have their surrogates trying to hash something out. But it does seem that at this point, both of them are trying to tone down the rhetoric just a bit, Lindsay.
Right, cool down the temperature just a little bit. Matt Gutman reporting in from Jerusalem. Thanks so much, Matt. New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez and his wife have pleaded not guilty to new obstruction charges in their federal corruption case in Manhattan. Federal prosecutors say the couple took bribes, which included a new Mercedes-Benz and a mortgage payment in return for the senator's help in projects pushed by 3 businessmen. The new indictment brings the total number of charges to 18. Menendez has denied all wrongdoing and called the prosecution, quote, overzealous. When asked by ABC if the Democrat would seek re-election, he said he would not be announcing a decision in court. The couple is set to stand trial in May. And now to that uproar over the royal photo of Princess Kate and her 3 children. The Princess of Wales has apologized for, quote, any confusion she caused by editing a family photo after several global news agencies pulled the image over concerns it was manipulated. ABC's James Longman is in London with the latest.
This royal family photo was meant to calm speculation about the Princess of Wales's health. Tonight, that speculation in overdrive after Kate admitted she doctored the image. The Princess of Wales herself writing, like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared yesterday caused. Conspiracy theories have run rampant online in the wake of Kate's absence from public life after she underwent what the palace called planned abdominal surgery in January. She hadn't been seen publicly since Christmas until this paparazzi photo emerged last week, Kate and her mother at Windsor. The palace says this new photo, released to celebrate Mother's Day in the UK, was taken last week by Prince William at their home. Posted with the caption, thank you for your kind wishes and continued support over the last 2 months.
We've now obviously put that photograph out to try to quell all the speculation. As a result, they were hoping that it would just stop that. But all it's done is add to these conspiracy theories.
Leading international photo agencies pulling it from their websites. An AFP analysis pointing out clear inconsistencies. Perhaps the most glaring, Princess Charlotte's left hand and sleeve, partly erased. Charlotte's skirt waistband and hair at odd angles, as is the zipper on Kate's jacket. It doesn't appear to line up. Kate, by far the UK's most popular royal, was seen leaving Windsor Castle today for a private appointment in the car with her husband. Prince William later attending a major event without her.
James Longman joins us now from London. James, what are palace officials saying about all this?
Not a lot, Lindsay. I think they want this whole thing to go away. This has been a nightmare the last couple of days. Prince William actually was at an event just a couple of hours ago, didn't mention his wife or any of this business at all. Look, in one sense, yes, it's a sort of funny story about a photograph, but in another, it's about trust in our institutions, trust in public office. Remember, the king is very unwell, and for this to have become such a controversy, for us to be questioning whether or not the palace is telling the truth, well, that's pretty serious, because the head of state at the moment, he has cancer. And so I think it's a big question around whether or not people can really trust what the monarchy is saying. Lindsay?
Right. Trust, obviously so important here. With all the buzz surrounding this, are people satisfied with Kate's apology?
Well, time will tell. I think they'll only be satisfied when one of 2 things happens. Either we see her out and about, or we see the original photograph. And the palace have already said that that's not going to happen. They've said simply that they'll give an update on her health as and when they have it. I think all we do know at the moment is that she's taken she has said that she was the one to have edited this photograph, but a lot of skeptics online are still saying, well, why would she have edited so many times all around the edges of this photograph? It doesn't make any sense. Why would William have taken a photograph and then sent it to her to edit on the morning of Mother's Day? A lot of questions. But like I say, Lindsay, the only thing I think that's going to kind of give people real satisfaction here is to see Kate in person, and I don't think that's going to happen for a little while yet. Lindsay?
Or shy of that, as you mentioned, releasing that original photograph. James Longman, our thanks to you. And still much more to get to here on Prime. Gisele Bündchen opens up about her new chapter, her split with Tom Brady, and her return to modeling on her own terms. But next, the issue some Native students are calling an atrocity in plain sight. In tonight's Prime Focus, we report on the push to get Native American remains stored at universities, museums, and institutions sent back to their homelands.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines.
From southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut. From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag.
Not a carry in it.
How important it made the USA. Great work.
Hi. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail? David.
David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir.
ABC News. This is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, start here.
Here's to good mornings in America.
Can you feel the love? Oh, yeah.
Mornings that inspire, filled with hope, kindness, joyous surprises, and so much fun.
This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy.
Start your day with Good Morning America's ray of sunshine, highlighting the best of America and helping
Make dreams come true. Wow. I'm just so happy. This is so good.
get ready to smile and put the good into your morning, America, because
You know what will make the morning better? A little ray of sunshine.
Welcome back. A reckoning is taking place at America's top universities and museums over the possession of Native American human remains. More than 3 decades ago, Congress ordered institutions to return sacred burial objects pillaged by archaeologists, collectors, and curiosity seekers. But roughly 100,000 remains are still awaiting repatriation. In tonight's Prime Focus, our Devin Dwyer has a closer look at a new effort to right a historical wrong.
It was founded as one of the first schools to educate Native Americans. But now Dartmouth College in idyllic Hanover, New Hampshire, is confronting what some Native students say has been an atrocity in plain sight.
You can't help but be in disbelief and shock, but also be hit with 1,000 other emotions that range from frustration to disappointment to sadness.
Paige Nakai and Raylan Bark, who lead Dartmouth's Native American student group, were among the first notified by the school last year of the discovery of dozens of Native human remains in the school's private collection of artifacts.
Essentially, afterlife is very sacred.
Physically, the remains, bones, are imbued with the spirit of that person.
You become one with the community and with the landscape. And so when you die, you go back into that ground, into that land. And
most disturbing to Paige and Raylan, some of the remains had been handled and displayed in anthropology classrooms for years.
There was this news that there's this discovery of 15 additional Native American remains. How did you react to that?
I almost felt a sense of betrayal. It was hard to really reconcile with the fact that there had been the discovery of human remains of potential relatives here.
Dr. Jamie Powell, the school's curator of Indigenous art, discovered the remains during an inventory she launched in 2018 of Dartmouth's collection of 67,000 pieces of art and artifacts.
This is our record storage.
Inside these corridors of books and boxes,
we needed to go look for things that were not accounted for.
Her researchers found clues that some of the bones and burial items used for teaching were improperly cataloged and unethically obtained.
Museums and academic institutions both were part of the colonial process, and they were created at a time when people didn't think Native Americans were going to be around any longer.
In some ways considered things rather than real people.
Yeah, so that dehumanization of Native and other peoples is part of what allowed these collections to be formed.
More than 30 years ago, Congress passed a law requiring schools like Dartmouth, as well as libraries and museums, to inventory their collections and to repatriate sacred items to Native tribes immediately. But compliance has been painstakingly slow. Of the more than 200,000 remains reported since the law was enacted, around 100,000 are still being held by institutions today.
Dartmouth is 255 years old, older than the United States itself, and many of the bones were donated to Dartmouth by people who had collected them elsewhere and then gave them to us. And so sorting out the provenance of these has been challenging.
Dartmouth has repatriated 8 sets of remains since 1995, but approximately 60 more still need to be returned.
To me, the most important thing is to work with the tribes and the Native American representatives who understand the deep cultural, spiritual value of these ancestors, and to ensure that we do what is most appropriate in their eyes.
I'm happy to be here today to witness the return of my grandfather's headpiece.
Nationwide, schools and museums have faced growing pressure to pick up the pace. Colgate University last November returned more than 1,500 funerary objects to the Oneida Indian Nation. So too did Cornell University, returning Oneida remains dug up in 1964. Top museums from New York to Cleveland to Chicago have been closing exhibits or covering up sacred Native objects displayed without tribal consent. But critics allege some institutions are deliberately dragging their feet.
The onus was on tribes to prove that somehow these were their ancestors. It allowed universities to sit on these remains for decades. Tribes often lack the resources to be able to say these are in fact our ancestors. So the law, without intending to be, was stacked against tribal interests.
I'm proud to relaunch this annual summit after years of neglect by my predecessors.
The Biden administration late last year tried to give the law new bite.
There you go.
Announcing a strict 5-year deadline for institutions to re-inventory their collections and return Native American remains. The new rules also require proactive consultation with tribes and clear consent before any objects are displayed or researched.
That is a form of accountability that universities never had to worry about before, and now they do.
Are you confident that all of these human remains here at Dartmouth will be repatriated in the next 5 years?
I can say with confidence that Dartmouth is committed to this work happening. I know that they will make it home eventually. In instances where we have returned things, what we get back in terms of community knowledge, future relationships, far surpasses the research value of these collections.
Raylan and Paige say Dartmouth has taken promising steps to right a historical wrong, but that the grief and trauma of discovering Native human remains on their campus still lingers.
What does justice look like for you?
Returning these people to their homelands, to their ancestral homelands.
If you talk about the word justice or anything like that, it's more so focused around a conversation with these tribes and with people who understand what the matter is.
Such a meaningful conversation there. Our thanks to Devin Dwyer for that. Still much more to get to here on Prime tonight. Coming up, it's one of the world's most popular social media apps, but now TikTok is on the verge of facing a nationwide ban. A closer look at the legislation up for vote that would wipe the app off of our smartphones. But next, it was Hollywood's biggest night, an evening of surprises, vindications, and celebrations when we take a look at the 96 Academy Awards by the numbers.
Everything I've experienced, it made me realize what I want and what I don't want.
Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen announcing their divorce.
You didn't think that the marriage would end. You said it was the death of a dream.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, when you say... Sorry, guys. I didn't know... Can I have a little moment?
Gisele Bündchen, Climbing the Mountain.
I'm living my truth and I'm not apologizing for it.
Now streaming on Hulu.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital, destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
You should see me in the crowd. I'm gonna win this nothing
The strongest females fight for the survival of their families. Oh, hey, the queens.
You should see me in the crowd.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about, the migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Erica Jane.
Celebrity attorney Tom Girardi.
This story was a nuclear explosion.
Today, several victims will get a chance to finally meet Erica Girardi.
I'm at sort of a loss for what to say.
Did you see the documentary?
The Housewife and the Hustler? I did.
I wanted Erica to say, I'm sorry, face to face.
Erica, why did it take you so long?
The Housewife and the Hustler 2, only on Hulu.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the daily news podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, Afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
I'm Aaron Katursky in Rochester, New York. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. It is, of course, a thrilling assignment to be on the red carpet for the Academy Awards, even breaking down some numbers with nominees face-to-face.
We are joined now by Mr. Paul Giamatti himself, up for a nomination for your role in The Holdovers. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
18 years since your last nomination.
Yes.
What does this mean for you?
Oh, it's fantastic.
And there's a lot more where that came from in tonight's By the Numbers. $56 million, that's what it cost to produce the Oscars ceremony this year, according to Wallet Hub. Advertisers paid a whopping $1.8 million for a 30-second commercial, so maybe our parent company Disney made some money back on ABC's coverage. But that's mere spending money, considering that Oppenheimer grossed nearly $1 billion and Barbie nearly $1.5 billion, making their producers a handsome profit, since that was 10 times more than each of their budgets. And what's the cost of an Oscar statuette? You have 2 seconds to guess. All right, time's up. It is $400. The statuettes are solid bronze, plated in 24-karat gold. Knowing full well that winners could sell their statuettes for far more, since 1951, the Academy has required anyone selling their Oscar to first offer it to the Academy for the whopping price of $1. Not that most Oscar winners will have any trouble finding work in the coming years. And we still have much more ahead here on Prime tonight. The cherry on top of a stellar season for Caitlin Clark, how Iowa was able to clinch the Big Ten championship, plus death by dance. Meet the singer whose 20-year-old song is having a resurgence thanks to an eye-popping viral movie scene. Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland, from Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Raleigh, North Carolina, the U.S. Capitol, Mayfield, Kentucky, Minneapolis, Mexico, Tongass National Forest, Alaska. Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine,
Close to the front line.
from the capital.
destructive Cat 4 storm.
We're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news. Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA.
You're gonna love it.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen wherever you get your podcasts. What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions.
Nuclear reactor.
So you have a couple loaded and ready to go.
The house is destroyed, but the flag. Not a carry, innit?
How important it made to USA. Great work.
Hi, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail? David.
I'm David Muir.
I know you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
The father of a mass school shooter on trial. The school's dean of students takes the stand. The story behind the viral video of a massive gorilla charging his zookeepers and the meaningful nuptials for a World War II veteran. These stories and much more in tonight's rundown.
A small plane crash has killed 4 adults and 1 child near Virginia's Ingalls Airport. Virginia State Police reporting the twin-engine plane crashed in the woods around 3 Sunday afternoon and then caught fire. The FAA and NTSB still determining what caused that deadly crash.
The involuntary manslaughter trial continues for the father of the Oxford High School shooter in Michigan. Nicholas Ejak, dean of students at Oxford High School in Michigan, testifying he was made aware of disturbing drawings, pictures, and messages belonging to shooter Ethan Crumbley, but never searched Crumbley's backpack for a gun or any other illegal items.
Needs to be some type of a suspicion or alert that I have that will allow me to do that. And so in this situation, there wasn't something that alerted me that indicated I needed to.
Turns out Ethan Crumbley had a gun his father had given him as an early Christmas gift and used it to kill 4 students in November 2021. And his father, James, is on trial charged with involuntary manslaughter for neglect and failing to intervene and prevent his son's actions.
A court has ordered former Trump White House advisor Peter Navarro to report to a Miami jail on March 19th and begin his 4-month sentence after he defied a January 6th attack house investigation subpoena. A court convicted Navarro last September of 2 counts of contempt of Congress for refusing to provide the committee testimony and documents.
The wild video going viral, a massive gorilla going after 2 zookeepers.
God help her.
The 34-year-old silverback named Elmo charging and cornering the zookeepers unexpectedly trapped in his enclosure. Elmo standing guard before rushing toward the second zookeeper, eventually clearing the way for the woman to escape. The Fort Worth Zoo in a statement saying each day zookeepers shift the gorilla troop into their indoor habitat so that keepers can place the animal's lunch in their outdoor habitat. But on this day in October, staff entered the yard unaware that the silverback was still there, calling the dangerous encounter an error.
An overtime thriller for Iowa and Caitlin Clark. They won their 3rd consecutive Big Ten championship, beating Nebraska 94-89 after a late comeback. To tie the game, Clark got off to a slow start, but she finished with 34 points and was named the most outstanding player of the tournament for the 3rd consecutive year. And South Carolina beat defending national champion LSU in the SEC title game. Unfortunately, the game was marred by a fight that broke out late in the game that resulted in 6 players being ejected.
A 100-year-old U.S. World War II veteran is getting married to his 96-year-old fiancée. They'll hold the ceremony in a town near the French beaches where U.S. troops landed 80 years ago. Harold Terrans and his fiancée Jean Swerlin plan to marry in France in June. The 100-year-old Terrans first visited the country as a 20-year-old U.S. Army Air Corps corporal shortly after D-Day. They will honor him as part of France's 80th anniversary, celebrating its liberation from the Nazis.
Congratulations to them. Congress is taking steps to ban TikTok, citing national security concerns. The House of Representatives giving the social media platform an ultimatum: cut ties with their China-based parent company or face a nationwide ban. Elizabeth Schulze has the latest.
It's one of the most popular social media platforms on the planet, but also the source of serious national security concerns from some U.S. lawmakers. Now TikTok, the viral video sharing app, is on the verge of facing a nationwide ban after a unanimous vote this week in the House Energy and Commerce Committee.
We need this bill because we simply cannot allow an app controlled by our nation's foremost adversary and competitor to take over the American media landscape.
With some 170 million users in the U.S., TikTok is owned by a Chinese company, ByteDance, sparking fears that China's government could access and sell Americans' personal data, manipulate users, or promote propaganda, which the company's CEO recently denied before Congress.
Senator, we have not been asked for any data by the Chinese government, and we have never provided it.
The legislation, which would force TikTok to cut ties with its Chinese parent within 6 months or face a federal ban, is set for a vote on the House floor this week. TikTok responding with a strong rebuke of the legislation, saying the government is attempting to strip 170 million Americans of their constitutional right to free expression and sending push notifications to users, calling on them to reach out to their elected officials.
You know what's going down when you get this notification from TikTok.
The bill, which House Speaker Mike Johnson supports, is also backed by President Biden.
If they pass it, I'll sign it.
Even though just a few weeks ago, the president's campaign team launched a new TikTok account to help boost his re-election bid.
Mama Kelsey, I understand she makes great chocolate chip cookies.
Former President Trump pushed back on the legislation despite his own failed attempts to ban the app with an executive order in 2020. Now he says a TikTok ban would benefit rival app Facebook, the social media giant he called the enemy.
Our thanks to Elizabeth for that. And now to Gisele Bündchen, as you've never seen her before. One of the most recognizable supermodels on the planet. She's returning to the industry on her own terms after stepping back to focus on motherhood. Those changes, just one of the many challenges she's navigated since she and former NFL quarterback Tom Brady divorced in 2022. Here's our Robin Roberts.
Take one. Who is the Gisele sitting in front of me right now?
Well, I think someone who has gone through a lot of new lessons, and I think that's one of the biggest blessings of life, you know. Hopefully we're not the same person we were yesterday. I mean, I think that shows that we are evolving. I'm a forever student of life. I'm a very different person.
For 30 years now, Gisele Bündchen has been one of the most successful and recognizable models in the world. A style icon and muse, Gisele has walked in nearly 500 fashion shows and graced the covers of more than 1,200 magazines. Beautiful. She's built her entire career on being picture perfect for the camera. But this woman sitting in front of me right now is someone we've never really seen before.
So many things keep happening in our life, and it just keeps you, life keeps you on your toes, let's put it that way.
Yes, life has thrown a series of curveballs her way, from healing after hitting rock bottom.
What could have killed me gave me a whole new life.
To that earth-shattering breakup with her husband of 13 years, future Hall of Famer Tom Brady.
The end of a power couple's marriage.
Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen announcing their divorce is now final.
She first met Tom Brady in New York City in 2006. Him, the famed quarterback for the New England Patriots, and her, one of the most powerful figures in fashion. Gisele reminisced about their first date on The Tonight Show.
When I saw those kind eyes, I literally fell in love like right away. I was like, what?
The two became the ultimate power couple. Tom attended high-profile fashion events like the Met Gala year after year. Gisele in turn joined the ranks of the football wives and was a mainstay in stadium stands, cheering on her husband. All eyes were on them, what they did, what they wore, even what they ate.
So Gisele Bündchen, Tom Brady's wife, just revealed her diet that gives her this bikini bod.
What's Tom eating? Like, he's not doing tomatoes?
If you have to name one couple that's literally goals, it is Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen.
They were inseparable. Gisele became second mom to his son, Jack, in 2007.
I got to experience how it is to feel to be a mom before I was even, to be a bonus mom. So I got to experience how my heart could feel that love and just expand in ways I never thought were possible.
The couple then welcomed Benny a few months after they tied the knot in 2009, and Vivi 3 years later. For Gisele, motherhood came first, taking a step back from modeling in 2015 to support Tom's career and build a life for her children in Boston. I think of my mother who's watching from her heavenly balcony. She said about seasons in life. Yeah. And I felt that my mother, she put her life in many ways on hold for a while for her children.
I think we do that as moms, right? I think we all have done that. I don't know all because I can't speak for everyone actually, but for my sisters, I have 5 sisters, so we have a lot of girls. So from my personal experience with my sisters, we all have had our seasons of nourishing our little babies, because I think that's right. I think they, you see this little being that is so, they need you for everything. I mean, so I feel like if you have the opportunity to stay in that moment of motherhood and really be there with your child, I think it's the biggest gift you can give yourself and your child.
But in late 2022, after much public speculation about the status of their relationship, the couple announced that they were divorcing after more than a decade of marriage. In a statement on Instagram, Tom called the decision painful and difficult, but that they wish only the best for each other. In her own statement, Gisele said they had grown apart. So many people who adore you and just want to know this season of your life, that it's so relatable that you didn't think that the marriage would end. No one goes into a marriage thinking it's going to end, but it does.
And it's heartbreaking, you know, to go through that.
You said it was I think the phrase you used, the death of a dream.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, when you say... Sorry, guys. I didn't know... Can I have a little moment?
Yeah.
Sorry. But let me just breathe.
Deep breath.
Okay. It's definitely a time of, a transition that had to take place, and it's not something that I don't think you wish for that, But I think sometimes in life things happen. I feel so blessed because, I wouldn't change anything in my life. I had incredible experiences. I learned so much. I have my children, which are the biggest blessings in my life. And now I get to create. It's a new season. It's a new chapter in my life, and I get to learn new things, and I get to walk my path in a different way, and I'm grateful for all of it. I'm grateful for every lesson.
Those lessons are constant, especially with her family now split between two different households. Co-parenting, how has that been?
I think it's been, there's easier days than others, but I think, it's amazing that the kids, they're super smart children. They know what they can get away with. So I think it's natural that it has different rules, and then kids just adapt, and they're gonna try to do what they want, and I can only control what I do. And I think for me, now is really about the balance. Now we have, Tom has time with them, and I have time with them, which I think is amazing because they get to, really experience, again, more enriching for their lives, two different worlds, and they get to learn from two different worlds, and that's wonderful for them, I think.
After stepping away from the spotlight nearly a decade ago to focus on motherhood, she's now embracing her ambitions on her own terms. Working on passion projects like her new cookbook, Nourish.
Super nutritious, super delicious, and if I can make it, because I'm not a chef, you can make it.
And in the past year, has signed on to be the face of a handful of brand campaigns.
I feel very lucky because I get to work with all my friends, people that I've known for so many years. When I used to do all these jobs, it used to be like, 360 days I worked. It was a different tone, like when everybody's pulling your hair and doing all that stuff, it felt like, wow, it's like you just need a moment for yourself. But now it's more spaced out, the jobs that I do, because of course, after I became a mom, that became my priority. So when I work today, it feels like kind of a little bit of a time to nurture myself in a way, which is so funny how that changes.
In this time of change where things can feel so chaotic, Gisele says she's at peace.
Everything I've experienced, it made me realize what I want and what I don't want. I think when you're younger, you try to accommodate, and I think what I learned in my life is about clear, current communication. I learn now how to communicate better. We also get raised sometimes saying oh, you have to, say these things or act a certain way, so then, you want to be liked. But in the end of the day, if you're not truthful to who you are, then it doesn't work, So I think I'm very committed to living my truth more than ever. So I would say that's what has been, where my heart is now, is where I am right now, is I'm living my truth and I'm not apologizing for it.
Our thanks to Robin and Gisele for that conversation. Sophie Ellis-Bextor is killing it. Her song, known for being a bloody good time, has come back to life 20 years after its initial release. ABC's Will Gann sat down with the pop sensation to discuss the song's influence and what's next for the singer-songwriter.
It's a matter on the dance floor, but you better not steal the moves, DJ. Gonna turn this house around somehow.
It's a song so good, it could almost kill you. Racking up nearly 500 million global streams, featured in the top 10 Billboard Global chart and on the Billboard Hot 100. Murder on the Dance Floor, released in 2001, sweeping social media now, all these decades later.
What is a murder on the dance floor? What does that metaphor mean to you, or is it a metaphor?
Yes, just to reassure you, it's a metaphor.
Okay, good.
The crime involved.
I was like, should I back up a little?
Always wise. Basically, for me, the song was always about that moment where, like, the dance floor's heaving and you feel like, this is the peak moment of the night. You know, that bit where you're like, I'm so happy I came out, and with all the right people, I'm right where I should be. That's sort of like the hedonism of the perfect night out.
Sophie Ellis-Bextor's pop disco anthem went viral after being featured in that infamous scene of Emerald Fennell's Saltburn.
I hear that there was a pitch that Emerald Fennell made to you.
So I didn't know loads about the film, actually. I had a very short synopsis, but yes, Emerald, she said basically she couldn't think of another song for this moment in the film other than Murder, which was a massive compliment, so I felt very flattered that she'd approached me at all. And all I knew was it was all of the song and someone dancing with none of their clothes. So yeah, and I thought, count me in.
So then you did see it.
Yes.
Talk to me about what it was like. I mean, my experience watching this film was in the theater with a bunch of strangers, and the way your song is used in this movie, jaws are just on the floor.
Yeah, well, the film's got a few twists, and as you all know, as someone who's seen it, the naked dancing is not even in, like, top 3. The nudity is more about complete freedom of ownership. They're just in their skin going like, ta-da, I did it. But I went along to see it at a screening, so I saw it before it came out, so I knew nothing. And I went along on a sort of a weekday morning with my husband and my brother and his new girlfriend and my mum and my eldest child. So yes, that's the face I was making for quite a lot of the film, actually. This was like, woo! So my poor son, I mean, actually, he absolutely adored it. He said it's in his top 10 films of all time, but he was sat in between his mother and his grandma, and as you'll know, there's a few challenging moments.
What does it mean to you to have sort of this intergenerational hit on your hands? Because there are folks who are familiar with the song from 2001, and then now you have the TikTok generation, so whether it's your son's friends and him and stuff like that, I mean, there is this kind of intergenerational celebration happening when people hear this song. What does that mean to you?
As far as Murder is concerned, it's still like the dust is still settling, because this has all been really, really new, and the lovely thing about music is it evolves. It's not stationary, so everything that's gone on with all my music over the years and wherever it's taken me informs and develops my relationship with the music.
Ellis-Bextor has been making music since the late 90s. In the early 2000s, she collaborated with DJ Spiller on her hit single Groove Jet, which reached #1 in the UK. And she's still a pop powerhouse, fans clamoring over her latest single, Lost in the Sunshine.
What's next for you?
Well, I was already making a new record, so funnily enough, I'd already decided, right, album 8, I want to go back to my pop, dance, disco roots, so there's a lot of serendipity around what's been going on, and it's definitely put a lot of positivity around making new music and made me feel like, oh, the wind's in the right directions.
Any idea of when that new music might be?
I'm not very good at that, because I feel like you've got to make the album that's right rather than the album that's right now, so historically I tend to take my time, but then suddenly I'll just turn around and look at all the songs and be like, I'm done.
Wow.
So let's see.
The album that's right, not the album that's right now.
I think so.
I like that.
You don't win prizes for bringing out something that's not good enough, you know? You've got to feel it in your heart.
Our thanks to Will for that. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Lindsay Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, officials concerned the situation in Haiti, which is already dire, could get even worse. Plus, the new state law that could restrict classroom discussions around race, leaving teachers without the ability to talk about our country's history.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
on the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Erica Jane.
Celebrity attorney Tom Girardi.
This story was a nuclear explosion. Today, several victims will get a chance to finally meet Erica Girardi.
I'm at sort of a loss for what to say.
Did you see the documentary?
The Housewife and the Hustler? I did.
I wanted Erica to say, I'm sorry, face to face.
Erica, why did it take you so long? The Housewife and the Hustler 2, only on Hulu.
You should see me in the crowd. I'm gonna run, there's nothing to do. Watch me knock 'em down one by one.
The strongest females fight for the survival of their families. Oh, hey, the queens.
You should see me in the crowd.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis, coming to you live from Los Angeles tonight, fresh off our Oscars coverage of Hollywood's biggest night. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We'll have more on those awards coming up later in the show, and much more, including the crisis engulfing Haiti as the capital is overrun by gangs. Our exclusive interview with the gang leader who could become the next de facto head of the country. Plus, the developing story as we come on the air tonight, a deadly bus crash that left several dead. And the photos seen around the world and the royal apology that followed, why Princess Kate says it was her Photoshop skills that led to that curious image of the royal family, and why that has done little to quell doubts about the image and the state of the royal family. We'll take you to London. But we do begin with the chaos and deteriorating conditions in Haiti, where gangs have been leading massive coordinated assaults around Port-au-Prince for nearly 2 weeks. Secretary of State Antony Blinken just announced that the U.S. would provide Haiti with another $100 million for the UN multinational security support mission for Haiti. The U.S. has previously pledged to provide $200 million to the cause, bringing the total to $300 million. This weekend, heavily armed gangs attacked the National Palace as the Prime Minister remains in exile, their goal to force his resignation. The U.S. military launched helicopters to evacuate non-essential personnel from the capital. Haiti has long been in decline, those armed groups terrorizing the country with murders, kidnapping, and extortion, taking advantage of the political vacuum there. For the last year, our Matt Rivers has been reporting on the unrest in Haiti. He spoke with the head of one of the most notorious gangs, and Matt joins us now. Matt, what did he say it would take to stop the violence?
Yeah, Lindsay, it was an extraordinary conversation with the leader of this gang, and he was extremely clear with us. He talked about the fact that he took credit for all of the fighting. He is not ashamed of that. He's, in fact, proud of it. He said he's fighting for his country, and he said in order for this fighting to stop, there was one thing that needs to happen. It would be the resignation of acting Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Let's show you more what he had to say. Tonight, a gang-led rebellion putting Haiti on the brink of collapse. This elderly woman shot in the leg, desperate for help. And with the U.S. military helicoptering non-essential personnel out of the U.S. Embassy under the cover of darkness early Sunday, Secretary of State Antony Blinken traveling to Jamaica tonight for an emergency meeting with Caribbean leaders. It comes after coordinated gang attacks to overthrow the government of acting Prime Minister Ariel Henry. The man behind it all, a warlord called Barbecue, demanding the acting Prime Minister step down. We spoke to him over the weekend. If Ariel Henry resigns, will you stop fighting? Indeed, he says, if Henri resigns, we will automatically stop the attacks. Over the past year, we have reported on the growing unrest, and it has become increasingly difficult to get in, witnessing one of the worst humanitarian crises in the world.
So a nurse just weighed Marvin's here using this scale. He's about 9 kilos or 20 pounds. He's 4 years old, and yet he weighs the exact same amount as my son, who's only 10 months old.
Growing fears the situation will only get worse, with no end in sight to the violence.
And right now, Secretary of State Antony Blinken meeting with regional leaders in the Caribbean, trying to get acting Prime Minister Ariel Henry to cede power to a transition council that would then bring new elections to Haiti. But so far, Lindsay, Henry has refused to resign.
And Matt, of course, another element in this humanitarian crisis, issues with getting care at hospitals. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's just extraordinary to watch, and it's heartbreaking to watch what's going on in hospital after hospital across Port-au-Prince. The healthcare system was not good in Port-au-Prince before all this happened, and now the situation is so bad, doctors and nurses literally cannot get to the hospitals because there's the risk that they would be kidnapped or killed on their way. That's leaving patients inside these hospitals to literally fend for themselves. We saw that. We sent a camera into some of these hospitals earlier today, speaking to some of the patients there, who one person told us he was literally just waiting to die because there is no health care. That's how horrible things are in Port-au-Prince right now. Hospitals closed, schools closed, basic services not being met. Lindsay, it is not hyperbole to say that there is a failing state just 90 minutes flight from Miami. Lindsay?
Just such dire conditions. We so appreciate your reporting, Matt. More than 50 million people are under wind alerts tonight from Maryland to Maine. The ripple effect is being felt across the country. Nearly 3,000 flights were canceled or delayed today. This home in Carlisle, Pennsylvania was destroyed by a fallen tree, killing a person who was trapped inside. And in Maine, the Coast Guard braved 17-foot seas and winds topping 40 miles an hour for a woman needing emergency medical care. The wind is the tail end of a system that slammed the East Coast this weekend. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano joins us to time it all out. Hey, Rob.
Hi, Lindsay. This thing really got wound up yesterday quickly and continued to strengthen today, and it's seemingly in no rush to get out to sea. The low itself is still over the Canadian Maritimes, and we've got wind advisories that remain up. It's still blowing around here now, and many of these will remain up well past midnight as that low wraps around more in the way of winds of 20, 30, up to 40, or maybe even 50 miles an hour for the next 6 to 8 hours. And with the ground saturated, we're likely to see more in the way of trees down. That, plus what the winds are happening in the Midwest from the Central Plains down through the Texas Panhandle, where they had the largest wildfire in Texas history, still recovering from that. Red flag warnings are posted there with warm, dry winds, and critical fire danger likely to remain up in that area through much of this week. And here in the Northeast, the next 4 to 8 hours will continue to be dicey with these winds. Lindsay?
We can see the wind whipping out where you are right there. Rob Marciano, our thanks to you. Now to a deadly school bus crash out of Illinois. Authorities say 3 children, all preschoolers, were among the 5 people killed today when the bus collided with a semi-truck carrying sand. Here's ABC's Alex Brachet with what we know.
Tonight, a horrific crash scene along this Illinois highway after a semi-truck collided with a school bus, killing 5 people, including all 3 preschool-aged children on board.
Route 24 in front of Scripps Park, school bus semi-accident. At least 1 vehicle on fire.
It happened about 60 miles west of Springfield. Police say just after 11:30 this morning, the bus crossed the line into oncoming traffic and then into the path of that truck hauling sand.
The bus was traveling west on Route 24 and for an unknown reason crossed over into the eastbound lanes in front of the semi-truck. Both vehicles became engulfed in flames.
Both drivers were also killed. The school bus seen here barely recognizable.
When you have loss of lives like this, it's devastating. It's quite a tragedy.
So tragic. Our thanks to Alex for that. Now to the tensions between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Biden after Biden discussed what would be a red line for him. Matt Gutman reports in tonight from Jerusalem.
Tonight, a growing rift between President Biden and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after the president seemingly said an invasion into Rafah in the southern part of the Gaza Strip would be his red line.
It is a red line, but I'm never going to leave Israel. You cannot have 30,000 more Palestinians dead as a consequence.
Moments later, walking those comments back, saying Netanyahu's war was hurting Israel more than helping. For weeks, the White House has publicly urged Israel not to invade Rafah, where Hamas's remaining leaders and battalions are believed to be hiding among civilians without a plan to protect the more than 1 million displaced Gazans there. Netanyahu defiant, vowing to press on despite the president's concerns.
I have a red line. You know what the red line is? That October 7th doesn't happen again.
The leaders trading barbs as the holy month of Ramadan begins and as famine sets in. According to the UN, dozens, mostly children, have died from malnutrition, some like 12-year-old Mohammed clinging to life with severe dehydration and malnutrition.
So many suffering like Mohammed. Our thanks to Matt for that. The CDC is sending a team to Chicago to help respond to the city's first measles cases in years. 5 cases of the highly infectious disease have been confirmed by city health officials in the last week. Officials say most of the cases are linked to a migrant shelter. 2 cases involve children. Now to that uproar over the royal photo of Princess Kate and her 3 children. The Princess of Wales has apologized for any confusion she caused by editing a family photo after several global news agencies pulled the image over concerns it was manipulated. ABC's James Longman is in London tonight with the latest.
This royal family photo was meant to calm speculation about the Princess of Wales's health. Tonight, that speculation in overdrive after Kate admitted she doctored the image. The Princess of Wales herself writing, "Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared yesterday caused." Conspiracy theories have run rampant online in the wake of Kate's absence from public life after she underwent what the palace called planned abdominal surgery in January. She hadn't been seen publicly since Christmas until this paparazzi photo emerged last week, Kate and her mother at Windsor. The palace says this new photo, released to celebrate Mother's Day in the UK, was taken last week by Prince William at their home. Posted with the caption, "Thank you for your kind wishes and continued support over the last 2 months."
We've now obviously put that photograph out to try to quell all the speculation. As a result, they were hoping that it would just stop that. But all it's done is add to these conspiracy theories.
Leading international photo agencies pulling it from their websites. An AFP analysis pointing out clear inconsistencies. Perhaps the most glaring, Princess Charlotte's left hand and sleeve, partly erased. Charlotte's skirt waistband and hair at odd angles. As is the zipper on Kate's jacket. It doesn't appear to line up. Kate, by far the UK's most popular royal, was seen leaving Windsor Castle today for a private appointment in the car with her husband. Prince William later attending a major event without her.
Our thanks to James Longman. Last night's Academy Awards celebrated the year's top films, including Killers of the Flower Moon, which depicts the true story of white settlers who systematically murdered wealthy members of the oil-rich Osage tribe in Oklahoma in the 1920s. But being able to teach that history may now be in doubt because of a new state law restricting classroom discussions around race. ABC's Mary Alice Parks has that story.
Osage.
Across the country, Killers of the Flower Moon is one of the most talked about films of the year, nominated for 10 Academy Awards.
They're like buzzards circling our people.
But here, in northern Oklahoma, just minutes from the Osage Nation, the subject of the film, high school English teacher Deborah Thorson tells me state law makes her too nervous to teach the popular book on which the movie is based.
If I were teaching that book, then we'd get to what in society allowed that story to happen. So what were the laws at the time? What were the social dynamics between races and genders? And you cannot get into that without people being uncomfortable.
The 2021 Republican-backed law specifically bans mandatory diversity training and the teaching that any individual should feel discomfort, guilt, anguish, or any other form of psychological distress on account of his or her race or sex. It's one of at least 18 similar laws enacted in states across the country that restrict discussions around race and sex in the classroom. Thorson says she would never tell students to feel guilty based on their race, but the penalties around the law are so steep that she backed down.
Are you worried that that is the effect of this bill, a whitewashing of history?
Absolutely.
She's not alone. Around the state, we heard from educators and leaders of the Osage Nation worried the law silences teachers and halts progress.
They don't want to feel bad about what happened in the past. Well, I'm sorry.
Say that to my great-grandfather, who was taken out in the country and shot in the head. I owe it to him to tell that story.
Oklahoma's Intertribal Council has called for the law to be repealed. And former Osage Nation Chief Jim Gray says the law could suppress his tribe's history.
It wasn't being taught in public schools. But this law made sure it will never be taught in public school. Because all it takes is one person to be upset about it and they can file a claim.
Yeah.
Then it's no surprise nobody wants to take that risk.
But State Superintendent Ryan Walters, who's made a name for himself by often appearing on right-wing media, pushing anti-trans policies and attacking teachers, insists that the Osage murders can and should be taught in schools.
We have had a major misinformation campaign from the radical left and the teachers union on this issue.
So the tribes are just the radical left?
No. They've heard it. They have heard that absolute lie that's been perpetuated about it. We believe in telling the full story of American history and the full story of Oklahoma history. What we have said is very specifically, you can't tell somebody that they should be ashamed or feel that way about their skin color or their background. So
teachers say they don't do that. That no one does that.
Okay, well, you see my point.
The Oklahoma Board of Education has already punished schools because of the law. Teachers say it's evidence the law is being weaponized. Reagan Kalaki, a high school English teacher outside Oklahoma City, is a plaintiff in an ACLU lawsuit targeting the state.
To understand someone else's experience, they have to be able to see things from their perspective. And if we do not allow students to actually step into someone else's shoes and understand the pain that they actually suffered, we're doing them a disservice.
Oklahoma's Republican lieutenant governor, who traveled to the Killers of the Flower Moon world premiere in Cannes to promote the film, has conceded that what teachers can teach under the law may need to be clarified. But until the law is changed or repealed, Deborah Thorson says she won't risk teaching the book.
It feels like we are regressing. I'm not sure what they hope to gain from that, except those who don't know history are bound to repeat it.
A really poignant academic debate there. Our thanks to Mary Alice. Still much more to get to, including all the highlights from the Oscars. And the 4 countries competing in this summer's Olympics face stricter drug testing. Stay with us.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In rolling forward, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
Everything is so fine, little bit of sunshine. Some more, just a little bit. Breathe more, just a little bit. Smile a little more, and I'm into it. I've been running through the strange life. Pictures on my phone, like everything is so fine, little bit of sunshine.
Good morning, America.
Everything I've experienced, it made me realize what I want and what I don't want.
Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen announcing their divorce.
You didn't think that the marriage would end. You said it was the death of a dream.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, when you say... Sorry, guys. I didn't know... Can I have a little moment?
Gisele Bündchen, Climbing the Mountain.
I'm living my truth and I'm not apologizing for it.
Now streaming on Hulu.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag...
Not a tear in it.
How important it made the USA. Great work.
Hi. Appreciate you. Thank you. Ismail? David. David. I'm David Muir. I know who you are. You watch you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast. Why do so many people start their day here?
This is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen wherever you get your podcasts. Start Here.
Reporting from the Iowa caucuses, I'm Wade Johnson. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We're tracking several headlines around the world. India says it has successfully conducted its first test flight of a domestically developed missile that can carry multiple warheads. India has been developing missile systems since the 90s as its strategic competition with China grows. During the pandemic, India successfully tested a ballistic missile with a range of more than 3,000 miles, possibly capable of targeting nearly all of China. Today, Japan marked 13 years since a massive earthquake and tsunami hit the country's northern coast. Nearly 20,000 people died as entire towns were wiped out of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant was also destroyed. Fears from radiation leaks still linger today. Stricter drug testing has been ordered for track and field athletes from 4 countries ahead of the Paris Olympics: Brazil, Ecuador, Peru, and Portugal. Investigators say each country failed to heed warnings to improve random testing. It was certainly a memorable night at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles, where it was the ultimate Barbenheimer showdown. But in the end, in some ways, everyone won. One film earned the most Academy Awards. The other turned Oscar night into a Kentastic party. Our Chris Connolly has a look.
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
It was a 7-Oscar night for the monumental Oppenheimer.
Here it comes. And my eyes see Oppenheimer.
The eyes had it. Oppenheimer winning Best Picture and Best Director for Christopher Nolan, grateful for his place in the Academy's pantheon of filmmakers.
To know that you think that I'm a meaningful part of it means the world to me.
I'm a very proud Irishman standing here tonight.
Best Actor Cillian Murphy, who played the man who built the atomic bomb.
So I would really like to dedicate this to the peacemakers everywhere.
And the Oscar goes to
Robert Downey Jr., also feeling the Oscar love in Supporting Actor.
I'd like to thank my terrible childhood and the Academy in that order.
Downey, who once referred to himself jokingly as the head of the acting department on the Marvel movies, fusing quick wit and gratitude as only he can.
I'd like to thank I'm a veterinarian, I meant wife, Susan Downey over there. She found me a snarling rescue pet, and you love me back to life. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
Barbie taking home 1 Oscar, Best Song, for Billie Eilish and Brother Phineas's What Was I Made For, on a night when the Barbenheimer battle took center stage.
You know, I think I kind of figured out why they call it Barbenheimer and they didn't call it Oppen Barbie.
why?
Well, I think you guys are at the tail end of that because you were riding Barbie's coattails all summer.
Thanks for Ken-splaining that to me.
And then, can you believe it? At the 96 Oscars, Ryan Gosling, his performance of the nominated I'm Just Ken, bringing in his Barbie colleagues Margot Robbie, America Ferrera, and writer-director Greta Gerwig for a mid-ceremony celebration of pure Kenergy.
My dress is broken. I think it happened during I'm Just Ken.
Previous Best Actress winner Emma Stone, overwhelmed as she won the Oscar for her lead in the riotously inventive, risk-taking Poor Things.
I am so deeply honored to share this with every single person who poured their love and their care and their brilliance into the making of this film.
Guided up the stairs by her Holdovers co-star Paul Giamatti, Divine Joy Randolph, accepting her supporting actress Oscar with deep feeling.
For so long, I've always wanted to be different. And now I realize I just need to be myself. And I thank you for seeing me.
A speech so powerful, she wasn't the only one getting emotional. The night full of teary moments and plenty of laughs from host Jimmy Kimmel.
Look, kids, it's Barbie and Ken. Even if neither one of you wins an Oscar tonight, you both already won something much more important, the genetic lottery.
A surprise appearance from four-legged star Messi, who plays Snoop in the original screenplay Oscar winner Anatomy of a Fall, delighting the room. And Dare to Bear presenter John Cena, the Academy honoring his body of work.
Costumes, they are so important.
Funny and heartwarming. Our thanks to Chris for that. And still to come, college students come together for a sweet surprise for their overnight security guard. Their story is next.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
Everything I've experienced, it made me realize what I want and what I don't want.
Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen announcing their divorce.
You didn't think that the marriage would end. You said it was the death of a dream.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, when you say... Sorry, guys. I didn't know... Can I have a little moment?
Gisele Bündchen, Climbing the Mountain.
I'm living my truth and I'm not apologizing for it.
Now streaming on Hulu.
You should see me in the crowd. I'm gonna run, there's nothing to hide. Watch me knock 'em down one by one.
The strongest females fight for the survival of their families. Oh, hey, the queens.
You should see me in the crowd.
Students at Providence College in Rhode Island knew what they had to do when they learned that an overnight security guard in their dorm had not seen his family in Nigeria for more than a decade. Reporter Caitlin Gelhaus, our partner station WLNE, has this emotional story.
Once we learned that James hadn't seen his family in over a decade, that's kind of what kickstarted this for us.
For a group of Providence College students living on the 4th floor of Raymond Hall, family is not necessarily by blood.
We take care of our own, and we firmly believe that James is one of our own.
These students set up a GoFundMe just last week, getting over 230 donations and raising just shy of $7,000. An envelope with $3,000 given to their dorm security guard Wednesday night to fulfill his dream of flying home to Nigeria to see his family after 11 years.
Part of the family, so our gift to you is a trip to Nigeria. So someone that you're drawn towards, just really kind, compassionate. After a long day, you go out on a Friday night after class and you come back, James is there.
James starting his work at Providence College just this year and clearly making an impact at the school.
I'll say one thing that's so special is the impact James is having on all of us. His reaction and the authenticity of not only this group and the students involved with him and the care and what he said at the end, that he's praying for them. He's praying for their success, that God watches over them, and he does that every day. He's such a good role model for all of us.
What a show of empathy. And that is our show for tonight. I'm Lindsay Davis. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course on abcnews.com. The news never stops. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.